Hey guys, welcome to the show Maraha. The dust has settled on Dublin City Marathon 2022. Let's have a look back at it.
The gun is up, the gun is gone, the wait is over, ladies and gentlemen. The start of the Irish Life Dublin Marathon 2022 is well and truly underway. John Paul Kelly was one of those we saw up at the start. The road is suddenly full with smiles and bobbing heads. The pacers are out there led by Anto. Everyone here, well, they're looking a little bit tense and everything. They're colourful, the ladies from Nashville are there. They look in tip-top shape, every one of you. You are going to look better than you did when you look
Best of luck, Eugene.
In the first few miles, we bumped into some friendly faces, such as Eugene Doherty of CB Rovers, master over 65 athlete, who had a super run. Then we got down onto the quays and I met Phelan Murray, a friend from Crusaders.
Good man, Phelan. Bit of fun is over now. See you at 10k.
Next I met another Crusader, see there Carl Walsh, and this lovely lady Mary Meehan from Glasslock Harriers running her very first Dublin City Marathon. I had a bit of banter with Carl at the expo the day before, saying he was too old to run a marathon, and I think I'm actually older than Carl myself. So he said to me when I met him, "You're too old to run a marathon," so it was a good bit of fun. You can see here on the left now two chaps from Blackrock AC here in Dublin, and we did a little chat with those guys. I got the thumbs up at the 10k mark. One of the guys, I'm not really sure which one, had ran, I think it was Berlin a couple of weeks beforehand, so fair dues to him. I'd also like to take this chance to congratulate a couple of friends, Paul Dorn, who ran a PB, super PB of 240, Miles Gibbons, who ran a sub 240, run 239. Miles is a big fan of the channel, so well done to you, Miles. And also to the great Sean Hare, who was second in the national championship.
44:30 for 10k. Thereabouts. Quarter of the way, nearly there. So far so good, not right lads? So far so good. Done. Okay. Well done guys, cheers. Guys not here. Where are you, Tony?
Here we are in Chapelizod, and I was looking to see my friend Tony Kynes. Unfortunately I missed him, and unfortunately I made the boo-boo with the camera, but sure, look, that's life, and I got to the finish line, so that's the most important. This is where I was running with my club mate Jamie, so that really helped as well. We were able to spur each other on. Great support down through Chapelizod. It's always one of the noisy parts and great parts of the course.
You might have been on the other side. Anyway, look. There you go, thanks. Alright. Even. It's very warm.
Unfortunately, I had a bit of a technical issue with the GoPro. After the last time I talked to you, it wouldn't turn back on for me. As it turned out, I had put it back into the flip belts without turning it off, without stopping recording. When I was looking for my friend Tony Kynes down in Chapelizod, who had told me he'd be on the water station, I just put it back in, forgot all about it. It recorded for about a half an hour of me just running with it in the flip belt and ran down the battery. And then when I tried to get it back on, it wouldn't come back on. Now, not the end of the world. I got some really nice footage, kind of helped to capture to a certain extent the atmosphere on the morning. But look, that's how it goes. And to be honest with you, the way the race went for me, I might have been able to get much more footage, because I got to halfway and it was grand. I was okay, but the way it had worked out for me in regards to how I'd felt from the very start, after about a mile, I could feel I was actually starting to sweat down the side of my face, and it was very unusual. Don't really get that. Pace wasn't there, wasn't really forcing it. So just held back off it for the whole race, and as it turned out, I made the right decision. Went through halfway, and I think it was 1:33, 1:32:30, I think it was, and then finished in 3:09:30. So it was a couple of minutes slower in the second half. It was the last couple of miles where I really slowed up. But if I had went for it early in the race, I would have slowed up an awful lot more. I had a very enjoyable experience. Got loads of great shouts up Clonski and around Roebuck that really helped me to keep going. My daughter then was on the bottom of Foster's Avenue with her uncle and her cousins, and I got a really great cheer from her there, so that really spurred me on. I knew once I got past those guys there that I was on the home stretch, and it was just a matter of keeping one foot in front of the other. I was running down Nutley Lane, and I was trying not to get sick, and some guy from Tyrconnell, I think it was Sperrin Harriers, was saying, "You okay?" And I was just like, "Look, it's we're runners, let's keep running, one foot in front of the other, let's just get to the finish line." And I got there. I ran the whole way. I didn't stop once, which I did in London, which I was really happy with. Slower time than London, but I was in slightly better shape for London. London's a better course. I suppose on the day with the sweating earlier on, what I did in the race, and I'd never done it before, is when I got to the water stations, I actually got the bottle of water and took a drink, and then poured the rest of the bottle of water over my head and over the back of my neck, all of it, every drop of it. And it was really refreshing and nice, actually. You think like, oh, you'd be freezing, but about halfway to the next water station, the effects were well gone. I was looking forward to getting to the next water station to cool down again. So a lot of people I'd never seen as many people drop out of DCM. Around halfway there was tons of people, and all the way to the finish, loads and loads of people on the side of the road, and stories from after the race of people needing attention. Everyone seems to think that there was a lot more, it's not just me, a lot of people seem to think there was a lot more people this year than ever before requiring attention, which unfortunately is sad. But hopefully, from what I know, everyone is good. No just a bit of rest and recuperation, and everyone seems to be fine. As you can see, myself and on Bankela here, the morning before we headed off, we took a picture and we looked really fresh. And Bankela had more of a struggle than I did. She was looking for sub 3:40 and ran 3:48. I was hoping to run around 3 hours and ran 3:09. So the both of us were about 10 minutes off of what we kind of hoped for. And I think most people, a lot of people were as well. Anyone who ran a PB yesterday or had a good run, fair play. You obviously trained really hard, which some of us didn't, and it caught up on us. It was really interesting. I met two clubmates after the race, and we were kind of recovering together, and it was really interesting what they had to say.
Wisdom, Jamie.
Never do a marathon.
How about you, David? Any words of wisdom?
Train the next time.
Fair play to Jamie. He ran a 14-minute PB, and David, he was his first marathon, and the longest race he'd ever ran was a half marathon, and he ran 3:17. So that's absolutely fantastic. That really bodes well for him for the future. So I'm sure he's going to be a sub 3 hour marathoner in no time. As regards going forward, rest, recuperation, cross country, going to La Santa in 3 weeks time for some warm weather training. Dungarvan 10 mile in February, and possibly then the half marathon in Bohermeen again in March. So that's really my targets. plenty of little races here and there between now and then, but I really want to, personally I really want to grasp the nettle now. After London last year, I took the foot off the pedal and really set myself back. I really need to keep, to a certain degree, keep the intensity of my training up. I've got into a really good frame of mind off of this block of training in regards longer miles. Now I just have to try and add a bit more intensity, shorter, faster stuff, and try and get a little bit fitter and try and get a little bit more competitive. But I have to say, the experience yesterday was, as always, fantastic with DCM. Never disappoints. The support on the course was absolutely phenomenal. It's probably the best I've ever seen. I ran my first DCM in 2009. That was my 5th Dublin City Marathon. And it seems every year it just gets better and better. The crowds on the course, it's just super. And you can't put a price on running your hometown marathon, because it's your race. It's our race. It's a great race.